They never rent quality flicks. They always pick the most intellectually devoid movie on the racks.
Ooh, Navy SEALs!
Now, quite honestly, Vinegar Syndrome has become one of my favorites and also one of the top boutique labels leading the way, not just in physical media, but in preserving film for future generations. And I'm not just blowing smoke up someone's skirt here. In fact, go watch my interview I did with Oscar and Joe from Vinegar Syndrome, and you'll see the passion and drive they have for film preservation. It's in their blood and also physical media. And yes, this even means with today's movie, Navy SEALs from 1990. Now, Navy SEALs came out on Blu-ray in 2010 with a couple reprints since then. And when I say MGM gave this one a very lackluster transfer, that's a huge understatement here. Well, Navy SEALs has received the Royal 4K UHD treatment, making this number 9 out of Vinegar Syndrome's Ultra Series. Oh yeah, just look at that. We'll get more into this in a moment. Now, Navy SEALs comes at us with a 4K restoration from the original 35mm negative, forming a native 4K DI with HDR10 grading and theatrical ratio of 1:8:5:1. Alright guys, you know what time it is? Let's take a closer look at Navy SEALs on 4K UHD compared to the previous Blu-ray and if it's worth upgrading to. Also, you're going to want to stay tuned after the review for an exclusive up-close look of everything this box set features, including exclusive new artwork and also a rundown of exclusive special features that are only available on this edition from Vinegar Syndrome. So let's get to it.
Navy SEALs!
Right out of the gate, you can immediately tell this is a whole new master. First, the image has been cleaned up from any kind of unwanted debris or wear and tear from the negative sitting in storage. Such as with these shots here at the start of the film, these are perfect examples of what I'm talking about. As you can see here, there are some black specks, and there's also, I'm not sure if you can see it in these stills online, but there are some slight yellow splotches here and there in the frame, on the image. But most notably is that hair up there in the right-hand corner. Now I'm going to zoom in on the images here so you can get a clearer view. These are obviously not supposed to be there. And Vinegar Syndrome cleaned it up, while also leaving all inherited imperfections that were all baked into the negative intact. And these are just a couple shots out of many. Next I want to talk about is the color reproduction. And with the HDR10 grading, greatly enhancing what's already there, bringing Navy SEALs as close as possible to its theatrical presentation. The biggest area here is the color correction, especially the firefight during the finale of the film. And as you can see clearly here, the Blu-ray was bathed. It was washed over with this weird hot pink or salmon, I guess, light color. That just looks ugly, and it's hard to see clearly in the image. The 4K now brings these same shots back to how they should look and how they originally looked, with a nice tight fiery glow that looks much more appropriate now, and the HDR10 grading really helps in this department, with outstanding looking primaries that look vibrant, rich, and stabilized colors, along with some much needed added color depth that makes a big difference here, bringing some needed life back into the image. One prime example is the golf course sequence. That's probably the brightest and most colorful sequence out of the film to match the tone of that sequence. It has outstanding uses of greens, blues, reds, yellows, even pinks. And now the sequence is a halo jump against a sunset, looking more brilliant and deeper, that draws out a lot of more shadows and depth in the image and details. The sequence now on 4K just looks incredible, and I've never seen it look like this on home media. And this is just two sequences out of many. The ocean water looks a lot cleaner and more ocean blue, especially underwater. Skin tones are also warmer, now looking much more natural, unlike the almost pasty pale color of the skin tones on the Blu-ray. Saturation contrast levels are right on point here, dialed in just right, injecting some nice warmth and punch back into the image, and contrast levels having daylight scenes looking more brighter and natural. Now, a big problem with the Blu-ray was just how lousy the black levels were handled. It looks like trash, with bright blacks that carry a hell of a lot of noise to it. In fact, there's certain shots throughout the film at night where it's so bright that it brings a lot of noise in the image on the Blu-ray. I don't know if you can actually see what I'm talking about with these images online, but trust me, it's definitely there, and you can definitely see at least the bright blacks in these images here. Now with the 4K, we have deeper, truer, inky black levels looking how they're supposed to look. Night scenes are also handled much better here, with outstanding uses of shadow detail and delineation, giving more authentic night atmosphere, and darkly lit scenes are also handled incredibly well. It's just a huge difference here between the 4K and the Blu-ray. Now, another big reference point here is just the overall 4K image quality. We already talked a little bit about this at the start of this review, and this image just looks incredible with so much finer details. The level of detail and texturals looks outstanding, from all the intricate details of weapons and vehicles to destruction of buildings, even down to bullet holes, and even looks a little bit more complex. The dilapidated city in the ending looks incredible, with bright orange flames of fires and the destruction against the black of night. Now, Navy SEALs is a very sweaty movie, very sweaty. And we can now make out every bead of sweat and glistening sweat on faces, skin, soaked through clothes. But also we get all the caked on dirt, grime, dried on blood during action sequences that's more revealing here. Also, a great point here is with just the depth and three-dimensionality that is much more present here. The Blu-ray had a very flat, lifeless appearance. Now with the added depth and three-dimensionality on a 4K, it carries much more life and also a lot more spaciousness in the image, really showing off the full scope of the film. And all of this together fills the 185 frame, showcasing the production design and the cinematography. It just looks outstanding. The bit rate, I saw it start in the mid-50s, and it hanged out between the mid and high 60s. This is an inherently heavy, grainy looking film, and Vinegar Syndrome did not mess with this, thankfully. There is no scrubbing or grain management done. And I'm not sure if you can tell here online with these images, but the grain on the Blu-ray was very thick and very heavy and chunky. On the 4K here, the grain is much better resolved here, looking much more tighter and finer, giving a very pleasant, natural 35mm filmic appearance. Alright, but now let's talk about the audio presentation of Navy SEALs in 4K. And Navy SEALs in 4K carries a terrific sounding DTS lossless 5.1 surround track and also a stereo track. This is an excellent surround mix, from the heavy action sequences to firefights, the film's synth-heavy score. All has some really nice weight and punch to it, and surround activity. And dialogue is clean and clear. Alright, so I'm giving Navy SEALs from Vinegar Syndrome on 4K UHD and overall for video and audio a 5 out of 5. And if you own the previous Blu-ray, this is a much needed upgrade from that Blu-ray. And if you've never owned this film before, this is definitely worth adding to your collection. But now here's the real test. I want to hear your opinion here because, hey, I care. When you look at the differences here between the Blu-ray and the 4K from Vinegar Syndrome, which do you think looks better? Head over to the comment section and let me know. We're going to switch over to the other camera now because we're going to take a closer look at this box set and what's inside and exclusive artwork, and then we're going to come back and do a rundown of all the special features. Now, as I said, this is number 9 out of the Vinegar Syndrome Ultra series with a very nice, heavy-duty, rigid magnetic box. We also have some stunning exclusive wraparound artwork. And also artwork on the inside. And a 40-page booklet. All right, but now let's get into all the bonus features that's included on the 4K and also the Blu-ray disc, and they include a new 2024 audio commentary track with film historians Jim Hemphill and Kelly Gudner. This is an outstanding audio commentary track with tons of insights on the film, the production, the crew, and the overall making of the film. And if you're interested in filmmaking on any level, this is a commentary that's tailor-made for you. Next up, we have an interview with director Lewis Teague on bringing the authenticity to the film, or trying to, talking about his relationship with the Navy SEALs and being granted access where the public was not permitted to go. Interview with screenwriter Gary Goldman from the concept of the film to script to screen. It's a really great interview, and he brings a lot of insight into writing a screenplay and how to bring it to life. We also have an interview with film historian Walter Chaw, who dives in deep into the career of director Lewis Teague, and we also have theatrical trailer. Once again, Vinegar Syndrome proves why we love physical media, why physical media will not die. I mean, this is just an outstanding release, an outstanding box set. As always, guys, keep physical media alive, and we'll see you next time with another 4K versus Blu-ray comparison.